Hello and welcome back. In this video, we are going to create a function that will allow us to connect to the command and control server and get back a connection object. For that, I'm going to import an extra package up here called net that is used for network operations in the Go programming language. After that, I'm going to create a function at the bottom here and I'm going to call it connect home. And from this function, we are going to get a connection object. And inside the curly braces, we are going to have the logic. So to get the connection object, we are going to use the dial method of the net package. So net.dial. And as you can see, it receives two parameters, one being a network and the other address. So for the network parameter, we are going to use TCP, which is short for Transmission Control Protocol. And after that, we have the second parameter, which is our C2 server address. Now, as you can see, we have not yet declared it. And so I'm going to come back to the top here and create a constant since it's not changing. And I'm going to call it C2. It's a string. And we're going to assign it the IP address and port of our C2 server. Now, for testing purposes, I'm going to use the local host IP, so 127.0.0.1 and a port of 1234. Once that is done, as you can see, it can now be recognized down here. And now we can store the values that we get from this method in variables. So it returns two values. One is a connection object and the other is an error. So con, I'm going to call it that, and err are equal to that. And once we have that, we can return the connection object. However, it is not all the time that our command and control server will be up and running by the time our malware executes. So for the case when our malware executes before the command and control server starts to run, we want to be able to handle that situation as well. So what we are going to do is that we are going to check whether we are getting an error from this method, and if we do, we are simply going to have our program sleep for a few seconds and then try to connect back again. So for that, I'm simply going to check the value that is stored in this variable. So if error is not equal to nil, that means you have actually gotten an error. What you are going to do is that you are going to take a few seconds and then try to connect back again. So time.sleep, or the package has already been imported up here. And as you can see, it takes back the duration in seconds. So for that, we are going to have time.second, which is a constant, multiplied by 30, so that is 30 seconds. And after that, we are going to try to connect back again. So for that, we are simply going to return the method right here. So once that is done, we need to get back this connection object and store it in another variable that we will use to interact with the command and control server. So we are done with this line right here. I can also remove this FMT package. And right here now, we can initialize a variable with the result from this function. Now that is it, guys, for this lecture, and in the next one we will move on to start receiving commands from our command and control server. I will see you there.